So, you're dreaming of growing your short-term rental business. And that's awesome. Maybe you've got one property that's doing great, and you're thinking, what's next? Or maybe you're just starting out and want to build things the right way from day one. Well, a lot of people think scaling just means buying more properties. But honestly, that's barely half the story. The real trick isn't just adding units, it's keeping everything from falling apart while you do it.
Yeah, this is the big idea we're going to unpack today. Scaling doesn't just make your business bigger, it fundamentally makes it different. The real challenge isn't finding that next property, it's building an operation, a system that can actually handle it without you losing your mind. It's all about learning to think like a pro, right from the get-go.
Okay, look at this, because this right here is the heart of the matter. When you have one property, it's pretty simple. You can run it on pure intuition and personal effort. But the second you start adding more, that beautiful simplicity, it just explodes into complexity. What felt manageable can quickly turn chaotic. And all that hustle and personal touch that made you so successful, it's just not enough anymore. You have to rely on systems.
So let's dig into that. Let's talk about the scaling challenge and get crystal clear on exactly why adding that second, third, or even 10th property completely changes the game. Think about it. With one unit, you can be a total rock star just by keeping everything in your head, right? You know the booking calendar by heart, you can spot guest patterns, a cleaner calls out sick, you handle it. It all just works because you can personally plug any hole that pops up. But here's the trap so many hosts fall into. Your complexity doesn't add up, it multiplies. Going from one property to 5 isn't 5 times the work. No way. It can seriously feel like 25 times the headache. Suddenly, one cleaner running late isn't just a small problem for one guest. It's a domino effect that can absolutely destroy your entire day of check-ins. The pressure just skyrockets. And this brings you to a fork in the road. As you start to grow, you really only have two choices, two paths you can take. You can either double down on pure personal effort, or you can make the shift to building real, durable systems. So, path number 1 is the hustle harder approach. You're still relying on your memory, typing out every single guest message by hand, and coordinating with your cleaner through a messy chain of text messages. You're just constantly putting out fires. And yet, it might feel heroic for a little while, but it is so fragile. Honestly, it's a one-way ticket to burnout. And this is the great paradox of scaling, and it's so important to get this. The very hands-on, improvisational habits that make you a 5-star host with one unit, those are the exact same habits that will cause a multi-unit business to crumble. What used to be your greatest strength literally becomes your biggest bottleneck. So, what's the other path? The professional path. Well, it's all about replacing that improvisation with repeatability. And it's simpler than you think. You just turn your know-how into a system. First, you write down your process for, well, everything. Then, you turn that into a simple checklist anyone can follow. And finally, you build templates for things you do over and over again, like messaging guests. This is how you build a real business, not just a more demanding job.
Now, this whole idea of systems leads us to the next piece of the puzzle, creating your professional playbook. Because the foundation of any business that's built to last is a set of super clear, super consistent standards.
And that's where your brand standard comes in. It's basically your promise to every single guest. It's the level of quality they know they're going to get no matter which of your places they book. And even if you only have one property right now, thinking this way sets you up for success. Because guests don't care how busy you are, they just want a reliable, great experience. And this standard has to cover everything. We're talking how fast you respond to messages, your exact definition of clean, how the towels are folded, which amenities are always stocked, the whole shebang. Because if one of your properties is amazing and the other is just okay, your brand starts to feel random and untrustworthy. All right, so as you start to lock in these standards, your own role in the business has to change. You have to start evolving from being the person who does all the work to the person who directs the systems, and you need to be able to see what's going on everywhere. This chart shows that shift perfectly. Most of us start out spending all of our time just doing the tasks, but to really scale, you have to flip that. The goal is to spend most of your time managing and improving the systems that get the work done. You've got to become the architect of your business, not just another worker in it. You know, with your first property, you can kind of just feel what's going on. You've got that gut instinct. But once you have a portfolio, you can't rely on feelings. You have to see what's happening with data. You can't be everywhere at once, so you need that bird's eye view so you can manage proactively instead of just reacting to chaos.
And when you have that visibility, you can start asking much smarter questions. Which properties are my top performers? Why are guest complaints popping up at this one unit? Is one of my cleaners consistently having issues? Without this overview, you're just flying blind. With it, you can make smart decisions that make your entire business stronger.
So with all that in mind, how do you actually know if you're ready to grow? Let's do a quick scaling readiness test. You can ask yourself these questions right now, whether you're running one property or planning your first.
First question, are my systems repeatable? Let's say you wanted to take a 2-week vacation totally unplugged. Could someone else step in, follow your instructions, and keep things running smoothly? If the whole operation depends on you and you alone, you don't have a repeatable system yet.
Next up, are my standards clear? I mean, really clear? Is your definition of a perfectly clean bathroom written down in a checklist that your team uses every single time? If your standards for quality only exist inside your head, there's no way to scale them.
And what about your team, your support structure? If you suddenly got 2 new properties tomorrow, could your current cleaners and handyman handle that extra workload without everything falling apart? Your growth is only as strong as the team that supports it.
And finally, this is the million-dollar question. Can your quality stay consistent? Are you absolutely sure that adding another property won't water down the amazing guest experience you're providing now? Are your systems strong enough to maintain that 5-star quality every single time?
And really, that's what this all boils down to. The goal of scaling isn't just about getting bigger for the sake of it. It's about building a stronger, more resilient business. It's about growing from a place of strength, not a place of stress.
So if you take away just one thing from all this, let it be this idea right here. This is the mindset you need from day one. Real, sustainable growth isn't about collecting properties. It's about building an operational machine that's strong enough to handle them without breaking a sweat and without ever compromising on quality.
So, I'll leave you with one last question to really think about. If you were handed the keys to 2 new properties tomorrow, would your current way of doing things create more control and more clarity, or would it just create more chaos and more stress? Your honest answer tells you if you're building a business or if you're just building yourself a more complicated job.